everybody! This is Nazy from Nazes TV. And palagi ba kayong naaabutan ng mga flyers sa mall na mag-invest na daw kayo sa condominium? Yes! So sasagutin natin yung ibang mga tanong if you are interested on investing in a condominium. The only thing that I can share would probably be my personal experience on getting a condominium unit and as well as my personal preference, which I think would also help you as well, and mga personal consideration. So, if you're interested to learn more kung ano yung mga pwede nyong i-consider before investing in a condominium, please continue to watch. So, I have 4 things, yes, 4, that I can consider or that I actually considered before purchasing a condominium unit. So, magsisimula muna tayo sa 4th thing hanggang sa makarating tayo sa 3rd, 2nd, and 1st and topmost consideration. So, ano-ano ba yung mga 4 things that I consider? So, on the 4th place is my purpose. And then, the 3rd place would be location. 2nd would be developer. And of course, 1st would be, ano ba yung top 1 lagi? Budget. Yes. So, mag-start muna tayo sa purpose. Ano ba muna yung purpose mo para kumuha ka ng condominium unit? So, ako, technically, ang naging purpose ko talaga for purchasing a condo, first, yung first condo is to make it a home. So, ano yung mga naging consideration ko? I wanted to make sure that if it will be a home for me, it is something na malapit dun sa kung saan ako nagtatrabaho. Para hindi na malayo yung commute. Kasi mahalaga sa akin yung oras at yung pagod. So, yung effort. So, I wanted to make sure that as much as possible, kung nasaan yung condominium unit, malapit na lang din siya sa workplace ko para hindi ako masyadong mapagod sa travel. And then, second, if you're considering it as an investment opportunity. So, say, gusto mo siyang maging rental place in the future. You have to consider a lot of things if it will be rental, diba? So, ano-ano yun? If it's rental, conducive ba yung place for renting? Meaning, yung rental place ba na yun malapit siya sa commute, sa mga public transportation, malapit din ba siya sa market, malapit ba siya sa school? Why? Kasi, mas madaling magkaroon ng mga renters kung yung papaupahan mo, hindi na siya looban or hindi na siya kailangan pang maraming mga public transportation bago sila makauwi. So, halimbawa, malapit sa MRT, malapit sa bus station, malapit sa jeep, ayan. So, yan yung mga magagandang consideration where if you're considering it for investment. And then, malapit talaga siya sa mga place of work and school kasi yun talaga yung mga madalas na hinahanap ng mga renters. How do I say so? Dati kasi nagparent na kami. Nagpaparent kami before dun sa lumang bahay namin. Kasi syempre mahirap lang kami noon. So, kailangan namin ng mga boarders. And so, yun yung mga consideration nila. And madalas kaming hindi nawawalan ng boarder before dahil yung bahay namin, swak talaga siya dun sa center ng kung saan iba't ibang klase ng pupuntahan mo or yung location mo, talagang nandun na yung mga sakayan. So, maganda yung ganung klase ng location. So, if you're looking for investment, make sure na maganda yung location mo and mabilis sa kanila na makakuha ng mga public transportation going somewhere else. So, ayan. So, that's part of my 4th item to consider, which is part of the purpose. So, it's either personal or investment. So, 3rd place. Top 3 naman. So, yun yung top 4 yung purpose. Top 3 naman na consideration ko is yung location. So, apart from making it marketable if it's an investment, diba sabi ko kanina, make it yung consideration mo for if it's personal home for you, make sure that you list down all of your preferences para hindi alam mo kung ano yung gusto mo at hindi ka mawawala. So, on my 3rd list is the location. Ano ibig sabihin ko sa location? Nasabi ko na yun dun sa 4th list ko, diba? Sa 3rd list ko, location is topography. My personal consideration would be, tinitingnan ko muna kung earthquake prone ba yung location, yung flood zone ba yan, diba? And as well as yung security, diba? Parang marami ba, mataas ba yung rate ng crime dyan, ganun. Syempre, kailangan i-ensure mo na maayos yung location mo according dun sa mga items na yon. Why? Syempre, regardless if it's for personal use or for commercial or rental use, yung mga ganong consideration, tinitingnan din yon ng ibang tao. And ako, mahalaga sa akin yun. Kasi syempre, ayoko naman na nasa earthquake zone ako. Dahil ilang beses ko nang naranasan yung earthquake dito sa Pilipinas. And hindi siya nakaka-happy kung nasa condo ka. And that time na alala ko, it was, I think, December 24 siya. Natutulog ako. Actually, December 25 na siya. May malakas na lindol and I was actually renting on a 25th floor of a condominium. Ang tagal niyang matapos. As in, natutulog ako, naggising ako hilong-hilo because ang lakas nung niya, ang lakas nung uga niya, diba? So, isipin mo kung halimbawa bababa ka on a 25th floor, syempre hindi ka naman mag-elevator, diba? So, nakakatakot din dahil ang taas niya. So, if you're considering that, consider yung mga ganong klase ng location as well. Syempre, flood, alam naman natin dito sa Pilipinas, maraming bahain. And if babahain ka, diba, parang mahirap din yon on your part, ma-stranded ka dun sa lugar na yon. Paano kung wala kang food, diba? Or hindi ka makauwi kasi nga flooded na yung area na yon. So, saan ka uuwi, diba? So, those are the things that you should consider when looking for a location. And as well as security, diba? So, alam naman natin ngayon na most of the work, meron na rin tayong work sa gabi, diba? So, if panggabi ka, you have to consider kung secure ba yung area. Kung may enough security ba sa lugar, yung mga police, nagro-ronda ba, yung mga barangay, nagro-ronda ba, and mataas ba yung rate dyan ng crimes, diba? So, you have to consider that to ensure of your peace of mind and your safety. And of course, convenience, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, you also have to consider yung malapit ba siya sa school, kung may anak ka, malapit ba siya sa office mo, 'di ba? And as well as malapit ba siya sa sa market or malapit ba siya sa mall, 'di ba? So that pwede ka ring magpunta dun sa mga supermarket. Ayan. So yun yung mga considerations regardless if it's for personal use or for renters, for marketability, maganda yung mga ganong klase ng location na malapit sila at convenient for them to access yung mga pangangailangan nila. Diba? So, teka lang, pinapatay ko lang yung fan. Nauubo ako. So, yon. That's the third topmost that I consider. So, location. So, kanina, purpose, yun yung fourth. And third would be location. So, ano naman yung second? Ayan, so yung second naman natin na topmost for me is the developer. So, what do I mean by that? So, syempre, diba, bawat condominium may mga kanya-kanyang developer yan. May SMDC, may DMCI, may Robinsons, may Federal Land. Yung iba nakikipartner sa ibang mga foreign developers, like nakikipag-partners, like yung Mitsukoshi, diba? It's Federal Land and a Japanese investor. Meron pang iba, Robinsons lang talaga. Meron naman, marami pang mga iba't ibang developer. May Deca Home, so something like that. So, what are the considerations that you have to take note in terms of the developer? So, number one for me, I research kung may mga pending cases ba sila. Pending cases ng mga, like halimbawa, pumalya sila dun sa pag-deliver on time. Tapos may mga issues yung mga dineliver nila, yung mga condos na binild nila. May mga issues, may mga crack, hindi stable. So, something like that. Kasi syempre, magiging bahay mo yun or magiging business mo yun. You have to consider kung maayos ba yung output nila, maayos ba yung dinideliver nila na bahay dun sa mga na-deliver na nila. Because if it's not, then you have to think twice, diba? Second, actually, ito, napaka-importante nito. Yung perpetual title, 'di ba? Kasi may mga condominium na hindi nila na-offer yung perpetual title, meaning ikaw na talaga yung owner ng unit mo. It is titled to you. Yung iba kasi, you know, you own the condominium for, you know, for number of years, pwede mga 100 years, ganyan, but it's not, the title is not perpetual kasi it could be that the lot is only leased by them. So, you also have to ask that dun sa mga agent or dun sa developer mismo na if it's, you know, if the title is perpetual, para ma-insure mo na sa'yo yun kasi you'd be part of a corporation na kung ano man yung mangyayari sa condo unit mo in the future, you have a say kung i-rebuild ba nila yung condo, you still wanted to have a unit there, or lahat kayo, magbobotohan kayo, and then, you know, you'll just get your share of how much the condo is, or something like that. So, that's a good consideration that you have to check kung perpetual ba yung title. Yung rating, tapos yung integrity, 'di ba? Yun yung sinabi ko kanina. I-review nyo muna yung mga developers na nag-o-offer sa inyo ng mga condominium unit. Isa sa mga ginagawa ko is to test it. So, how do I test it? Ang ginawa ko dati is, dahil yung nauso na yung Airbnb, so nag-Airbnb ako sa mga condominium. So, nag-check ako kung yung mga gusto kong mga developers, and then, yung mga nagpapa-Airbnb, nag-Airbnb ako sa kanila. So, chinek ko yung, alam mo yun, chinek ko yung amenities nila. Maganda ba? Maganda ba yung ambience? Okay ba yung structure? Tiningnan ko, like, halimbawa, inisip ko parang, oh, etong nag-Airbnb ako, ilang years ago na siya na-build. So, halimbawa, 5 years ago na. Okay pa ba? May mga bitak-bitak ba siya? Alam mo yun, parang tinitingnan ko kung well-maintained ba siya and maayos yung structure niya. So, yun, one of the tip is mag-Airbnb kayo dun sa mga type nyong mga condominium unit na pag-investan. And then, so, those are part of the top 2 ko, yung developer. And of course, yung top 1. Yung top 1 talaga yung pinaka-importante doon. Ano ba yung top 1? Ito, madalas ito yung nagiging problema ng mga tao pagdating sa pag-i-invest ng condo. Kasi, minsan, may mga agent na hindi talaga considerate. You know, they just wanted to sell. And dun ako asar na asar. Dun ako naasar kapag may mga agent na, you know, ang tingin nila sa'yo is investor lang. Hindi ka nila nakikita as mga tao. So, please, mga agent, maging considerate naman kayo dun sa mga nag-i-invest, because you have to think of them as people as well na pinaghirapan nila yung mga pera na yan. And I know that, you know, kailangan yung kumita, but itong mga taong to, kinikita lang din nila yung pambayad nila. So, I hope that you'll be considerate. Anyway, so ito yung top 1 ko. Ay, nakalagay dyan. Top 1 is budget. Yes, budget. Madalas hindi talaga nara-run through ng mga agent to. Lalo na pag sa Facebook, makikita mo, ready to move in ka na. 3,000 lang kailangan mo. 3,000 a month, may condominium ka na. Diba? Don't fall into that trap, into that bait. Hindi totoo na ganun lang siya. Okay? So, yung structure ng pag-invest sa condo, there are 2 things. May isa, pre-selling, and then the other one is ready for occupancy. So, if both of those na-experience ko na. And for me, ang pinaka maganda pa rin na gawin mo, if you can, you know, kung hindi ka naman nagmamadali na terhan yung condo mo, or hindi ka naman nagmamadali na iparent mo na siya, and i-compute mo kung kailangan mo na siya, I would suggest get a pre-selling. Kasi ang laki ng magiging ROI mo pag pre-selling. Return of investment. So, regardless if it's pre-selling or ready for occupancy, there are things that you need to consider in terms of your budget. So, di ba, meron kang condominium unit na ang total price niya, say for example, 1 million, di ba? So, yung 1 million na yun yung kailangan mong bayaran. So, halimbawa, may cash ka, good for you. Pwede mo nang bayaran siya ng cash and then move in ka na, or makuha mo na siya once it's ready for turnover, diba? But if you don't have cash of 1 million pesos, then these are the things na kailangan mong isipin if you are ready for it. So, number 1, yung 1 million na yon, it will be divided into different percentages. of the things that you have to settle when it's already due. So, kung pre-selling mo siya nakuha, most of the time, if not all, yung 20% of that 100 of that 1 million. So, yung 20% nun is 200,000, diba? So, yung 200,000 na yun, dapat bayaran mo na agad yun sa developer. Yung iba, 25% yata, I'm not sure. But most of the time, it's 20%. So, yung 20%, kailangan mo na siyang bayaran sa developer. Kapag pre-selling, you can spread that 20%. Most of them, they allow it. You can spread that 20% or the 200,000 until the time na ito turn over na siya. So, halimbawa, nakuha mo yung pre-selling at the time na nag-open sila. Usually, ang mga condominiums, they have 5 years to build the condominium unit para ma-turn over nila sa'yo. So, kung ganun yung nakuha mo, you have 5 years to spread out yung entire 200,000. So, i-divide mo na lang yung 200,000, then that would be your monthly payment for the 20% down payment for that condominium before turnover. So, either 5 years mo siya bayaran, depende kung kailan yung turnover date, or 4 years, 3 years. So, you just have to ask them, kailan ba yung turnover date nito? Diba? So, say, ang turnover date nito 5 years from now, o baka mamaya 1 year na lang from now. So, you have to consider that. Paano kung 1 year na lang from now? Then, you have to divide the 200,000 by 12. Ibig sabihin, yun na lang yung maximum na pwede mong makuha para ma-spread out yung 20% or yung 200,000 na down payment para bayaran mo sila. So, that's one big consideration if you wanted to get a condo and wala kang cash na pambayad, diba? So, kailangan mo talagang i-consider yun. Magkano ang 20% ng total price ng condominium kasi yun yung kailangan mo i-down payment. Yun yung down payment talaga. Yun yung kailangan mong bayaran agad-agad. So, agad-agad before the turnover date. Okay? And then, you have the 80% remaining. That 80% of the total 1 million, which is, halimbawa, 800,000, diba, yung 80%. Yung 800,000 na yun, either bayaran mo siya ng cash at the time of turnover para makuha mo yung unit, or kung wala kang cash, then ilo-loan mo siya, either Pag-ibig, kung pwede yung Pag-ibig, or bank financing. Yun yung tinatawag natin na mortgage. So, imo-mortgage mo sa bank yung unit mo. Para bank mo na yung magbayad, and then ikaw, ang babayaran mo naman yung bangko every month. So, depende sa kung ilang years mo siya babayaran sa bangko and kung magkano yung interest rate na ipapatong nila, yun yung magiging monthly amortization mo sa bank, hindi sa developer. Kasi si bank, babayaran na niya ng buo yung 80% kay developer. Ngayon, may utang ka na kay bank. Kung sa bank ka nag-loan or sa Pag-ibig. Okay? So, ano-ano yung mga consideration mo doon? Kung sa bank ka maglo-loan, usually, nagbibigay sila ng 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years na nakalock-in ka dun sa current interest rate na ino-offer nila sa'yo. So, mamimili ka, ano yung gusto mong lock-in? 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years? So, kung halimbawa, kaya mo namang i-research kung pwede ka mag-forecast na ano ba yung economy natin ngayon? Ano ba yung political temperature natin ngayon? Would you think na yung interest rate tataas pa yan ng tataas in the coming years? Because if you can forecast that, then I suggest consider locking in. Kung maliit yung interest, ilock mo na siya for 3 or 5 years. Pero if you feel na lalakas yung ekonomiya natin in the coming years, then maybe you would consider just locking that interest rate for 1 year. Pero kami, ang ginawa namin, doon sa isang condo namin, or both, nilock namin siya for 3 years lang. So, medyo naging, nasa gitna kami. Hindi kami masyadong conservative, pero hindi rin kami masyadong aggressive pagdating sa kung anong interest rate. Pero, looking back, when we got our first condo, it was the time na magpa-pandemic and mababa yung interest rate nun. Pero dahil hindi naman namin na-foresee yung pandemic, we could have locked that kind of interest rate. Kasi maganda siya, mababa lang siya that time. Ngayon, sobrang taas na nung interest rate natin because of the economy. So, wala na kaming choice kundi kung ano na yung renewal date namin, interest rate, yun na ngayon yung makukuha namin. But you can always, request it from the bank na kung pwedeng babaan nila, yung na-offer nilang interest rate, especially if nagbabayad naman kayo on time at maayos yung pagbabayad nyo in the past years. So, yun. That's the 20% and that's the 80% na imo-mortgage mo. Now, meron pa ba akong ibang kailangan i-consider? Yes. At the time na ito turn over na nila sa'yo, yung unit mo, most of the time, merong 5% of the total equity na babayaran ka. What is that for? Yun yung processing fee. So, turnover processing fee ang tawag nila doon. So, yung mga papers, pambayad sa papers para lakarin, para i-transfer yung title sa'yo or i-transfer sa bank, yung mga bayad mo sa amenities, bayad mo sa pag-set up ng Meralco, ng water, yan. So, and yung paunang asok juice, tapos yung mga babayaran mo in terms of, halimbawa, parang yung sa mga fire extinguisher, ganyan. So, isipin mo kung 5% yun, so 200,000, actually, malaki siya eh, hindi lang pala siya 5%. Ay, yeah, parang ganon, mga 5%. I think 5% siya. So, tingnan mo kung magkano yun, or i-ask mo na agad yung agent, like, before ako makuha yung unit ko, magkano yung turnover fee, kasi minsan hindi nila na-discuss yan. So, you have to make sure na naiintindihan mo yun at alam mo kung magkano yun, dahil kailangan mo ring i-prepare yun apart from, mortgaging it. Kasi yung ibang bank, pumapayag sila na pwede mong isama yan sa mortgage mo, like 80%, minsan tinatry nilang gawing 85%, pero depende pa rin sa bank. And depende sa income statement mo, kung kaya, 'di ba? So yun pa yung mga considerations. Kaya ba ng current income statement mo na ipakita sa bank that you can actually pay the mortgage monthly? And then dun din sila magbe-base kung magkano yung interest na bibigay nila sa iyo at kung magkanong percentage ang kaya nilang sagutin doon sa nilo-loan mo. Kasi minsan, although we wanted to borrow the entire 80%, baka mamaya hindi sapat yung income mo. So, you have to consider that as well. 'Di ba? So, kailangan i-ensure mo na yung kinikita mo reflected accurately doon sa income statement mo para hindi maging hesitant si bank na ibigay sa'yo yung loan na yun. And then, of course, apart from that, yes, there's more. Kailangan, it's the same with bahay. 'Di ba? Dahil ang dami nating ang daming fire, 'di ba? May mga calamities tayo. You have to make sure that your unit is insured. Actually, minsan pag bahay natin, hindi natin ginagawa 'yon, 'di ba? Hindi natin ini-insure yung bahay natin, pero dapat ini-insure natin 'yon. Pero itong condo, required siya. Hindi ka ipapa-loan ni bank or hindi ka hindi ito turn over sa yung unit kung wala kang insurance. So, dalawa yung insurance na dapat kino-cover mo yearly yung unit mo. So, isang fire insurance and isang MRI. MRI, I forgot what it meant, pero it covers lahat ng, kung halimbawa kung ano mang mangyari sa unit mo, it covers that. So, pati yung mga calamities, ganyan. So, tingnan mo na lang kung ano yung coverage ng MRI. Kami, ang ginawa namin, doon na lang din kami sa bank kung saan kami nag-loan, kumuha ng fire insurance at saka MRI insurance para isang bayaran na lang. And yearly, alam ko na nasa kanila ako magbabayad para mas madali. But, may isang hack doon. Sinabi sa akin ng insurance agent ko na if I have an insurance, like personal insurance, meron ako, pwede ko palang gamitin yun to insure yung condominium unit. But, I opted not. I just, kumuha na lang ako ng insurance dun sa bank. Kasi, eventually, 'di ba, parang mas gusto ko na yung personal insurance ko, sa akin lang yun. Di na yun, iba pa yun kesa dun sa bahay ko. But you can also discuss that with your insurance agent if that is something that you would want. And of course, last thing, Yes, meron pang last. Real property tax. So, you also have to make sure that you consider the real property tax every year. So, every year may i-release sa'yo si bank or si developer na parang ito yung certificate of your title. And then, yun yung gagamitin mo para magbayad ka ng insurance mo for your tax. Insurance mo, magbayad ka ng real property tax mo sa BIR for that. So, yan. I hope this helps and I hope that, you know, wag kayong magmadali. You have to make sure na, you know, when you consider things, you have to make sure na wala na kayong alinlangan kung ano yung, saan kayo magpa-purchase ng developer, ano yung kukunin nyo, and of course, your budget. That your budget covers for it. Kasi, most of the time, yung mga naririnig kong mga kwento, they didn't know that they can no longer get a refund for the condo. And yes, once you, alam mo yun, pag nakapirma ka na sa contract, nasa contract na yun, na, there are just some exceptions that they can consider to give you back maybe a percentage of what you paid, pero most of the time, hindi na full refund yan. So, make sure that you have considered everything before you purchase a condo. So, I hope this helps, and if you have questions, let me know. Just comment down below and I'll try to answer your questions. Bye!